Elder Max Solis smudges and blesses the Kumik Lodge. It's a sacred healing space in one of the country's most colonial places.
Some people have been terribly affected by their workplace here, so they need help.
The headquarters of the Departments of Crown Indigenous Relations and Indigenous Services, the faded red bricks tower over Chaudière Falls just west of Parliament Hill. Surrounded by medicine, the elder explains how profoundly working here impacts some Indigenous employees.
And I've seen several people completely broken down, and the term we use in the Indigenous world is holistically. Their spirit has been killed. Their emotion has been killed. Their mental has been killed. The only thing they haven't done is a physical killing. But for all intents and purposes, they've been destroyed by this workplace.
The streets outside are quiet, but inside the discontent grows louder. APTN News spoke with numerous employees who work within these walls. We agreed not to reveal their identities because they fear reprisals. One woman told us her manager once told her to leave her Indian status at the door when entering this building. Another woman said working here was the worst experience of her life, resulting in a complete mental breakdown. Letitia Wells, a university student and former government employee, says her experience was terrible.
My workplace was so poisonous. It was so poisonous that some of us talk about suicide in that office, where maybe one of us should sacrifice our lives to be heard internally.
She says she was allegedly grabbed by a colleague, which triggered her trauma as a survivor of domestic violence. Now she advocates for those too scared to speak out.
Things need to change. You're running a lawless government that's harming us. We feel devalued, we feel abused, and we feel unsafe. There are no outlets for us. There are no promotions for us. When we do get promoted, we're set up for failure.
In a joint email sent to all staff and obtained by APTN, the department heads admit they have a problem. They wrote, quote, "We know that there remains a tremendous amount of work to do to eliminate discrimination and systemic racism in our departments and throughout the public service. We take all allegations of workplace discrimination very seriously, and we need your help to eliminate them once and for all." We sat down with the top bureaucrats to talk about the turmoil. Crown Indigenous Relations Deputy Minister Daniel Kwan Watson argued acknowledging the problem is a big step.
And the four of us stood before several thousand employees and said, this is real. We have no difficulties believing these claims. And I think for that to happen for the first time ever is not tepid. I will agree with people that simply doing that is not a solution. That doesn't end things. But you cannot solve a problem that you don't admit exists. And the four of us
Indigenous Services Associate Deputy Minister Valerie Gideon, who is Mi'kmaq, says it's a tragedy they are committed to stopping.
Systemic racism is not acceptable no matter where you are employed or where you live across Canada. And I think it is absolutely a priority for us as a department to not just eliminate it, but also to prevent it.
But the response didn't sit well with Solis.
And I think that in the Deputy Minister's response, you see the acknowledgement of harm. There is no acknowledgement of fear and hurt.
He sent the deputies an email in response warning them, quote, "The worst thing that could happen is that you speak empty words." He and others will be watching closely for action and, when needed, seeking refuge in the lodge. Brett Forster, APTN National News, Ottawa.